Alrighty people, it's been a minute. I had to pause the video a bit there because I had some parts that I was waiting on. I had a huge mishap with shipping and everything. The parts are here, so we're going for a bit of a suspension maintenance or swap. They're just Webco shocks, which from my ChatGPT research are pretty stock standard. This thing is going to get shocks all round. We're going to be doing some engine maintenance, which is going to consist of changing the valve cover gasket as there's quite a leak, and 2 snapped head bolts. I think they're called head bolts, or the valve cover bolts, which are snapped. One was snapped from the previous owner and one I snapped because it is so easy to over tighten. Anyway, we'll see you guys at it. So today's video is going to consist of a lot of voiceovers, as I didn't really do too much talking during the whole video. But what we've got is the engine, and have a look at that for a seal. Spinning bolt, that's the one I broke. The one on the right was the previous owner that just fell out. And yes, that is the bolt, clearly broken. Yeah. Now let's start unbolting the top of the engine so we can gain access to this valve cover gasket. So basically this is a little rubber outlining, as you can see here, that sits in between the valve cover, which is that big block that has the 1, 2, 3, 4 on it, and you'll see it is this blue rubber little strip that goes all the way around, and this essentially seals in all the oil from leaving the engine or anything from coming in, causing any potential damage. So what the lovely previous owner has attempted to do here was use some silicone and let that set, as I'm sure he snapped the bolt and very quickly found out that there was a leak, so the bolt isn't squeezing the valve cover to the rest of the engine.
Professional.
This is really annoying for us, as now we have to clean that off to ensure that we've got a perfect mating surface for our new valve cover gasket. So we've got to go in and scrape off any excess silicone that could fall into the engine and clog or damage some internal components. The silicone is good, but it's probably only good if you do it really properly, because otherwise...
And it breaks down. It goes for oil pump.
Fuck, that's crazy.
And then it sees the engine.
Now this is what we call a Tootsie Baby. This is Remy Lamb. Say hello to the world, Remy Lamb. And of course there is the top of the engine and the valve cover gasket itself that you need to clean to make sure both are perfect. Now I did show before we had some spark plugs, so we're taking them out, checking them. First one is okay. Second one coming out is fine too, beautiful. Third one coming out. Same as before, looking good, maybe a bit worn, but still working fine. Gonna replace them anyway, but the fourth one...
Ooh, look at that.
Full of oil, so there's a seal clearly gone, spark plug, so luckily we're replacing them all with brand new ones, so it'll be not an issue going forward. Also, a big shout out to Benno for helping and teaching me about all this stuff. Very good information, very fun. Now, chucking the spark plugs back in, let's have a moment of silence to listen to these talking beeps. Luckily, it worked, but I was worried that the valve cover gasket would be wrong. Turns out it fits 100% perfect, so it's much easier to chuck it on the valve cover itself and then just set it down and sort of let it sit wherever it sits. We test fitted it and it's all good. Rubbed some oil on the valve cover gasket just to make sure there's no friction built up and it doesn't sort of build up all into one corner. And this is pretty much it for the valve cover gasket. So it's going back on. One thing I will say is organization when working on cars is a must. Having bolts put in or photos taken of where the bolts were and which bolt it was makes working on cars so much easier and is so important. So the ChatGPT torque spec was 7 Newton meters, so we're going 7 Newton meters on all the bolts. Cleaning out the coils, just to make sure that everything's nice and sealed up properly. And putting all the clips back on, just touching everything up, trying to make sure everything's in place a bit better than what it could have been before, just because snapping bolts doesn't really send off good signs from the previous owner. So alrighty, first start. Hooray, the car still turns on. It technically should, no matter what we did, apart from the sparks and coils. But having a fiddle around with the alternator, with the ignition distributor, tried to play around, but we couldn't really get anything to sound better or anything. It's still got a bit of a rumble, so that issue didn't go away. But the car is in much better condition technically now. Alrighty, now for the struts. So here's a little bit of a before. Didn't really get an after, to be honest, but best thing for working on a car is a portable forklift. A forklift. It's literally just a portable car jack. Can do anything you really need, so it's just so handy. Now we can have a squiz of what we're dealing with. So the right shock is looking good, just a bit dusty. The left shock is completely blown. I knew this, but it is disgusting to look at. So that is definitely going to be something that I'm happy to change, because the left side of the car at the moment is extremely stiff. So hitting a bump, if you're in the passenger seat, you practically get shot out of this chair, like from those movies. Now we can see some of the bad parts that I received. So it was a little bit of rust, which honestly wasn't even on the actual strut itself. It was only on the thing that holds the strut down. I'm not taking that. Look at this little guy. Thanks to the Illuminator for recording. Just going to let you guys watch along with some of the stuff. I'm not going to talk too much because I can't really be asked. Pretty much just unbolting stuff, putting it back together. This happens for all 4 sides. And yeah, enjoy. Careful when I do the fronts. This is just caked on. Disgusting!
Wow.
So this is the perfect example of a blown shock. The purpose of a shock is to dampen the spring in your car. If you don't have a shock, your spring will be really bouncy, which is not a comfortable ride. So the shock serves its purpose by dampening or slowing down the spring, making it a more comfortable ride. This is the new one right here.
Bruh.
Oops. So that'll go on like that. Bang, replace. And it's all black, it's not dust.
Where's the roll gun? One. And then I go 2. And then I go 3. See? This one's just perfect.
Yeah. Overall, the process was not too difficult, pretty straightforward and easy to understand. The way I like to think about cars, or anything really, is if someone else can do it, I can do it. So from memory, it was about 8 or 9 bolts that need to be undone to take the strut out. So it's honestly not that difficult of a job. You just gotta have some of the right tools to make your life a bit easier and a bit of patience. Otherwise, it's not that bad. It's not a really hard thing to do. We had a little break after being interrupted by some little kitties. Look at them, they're so cute. Unfortunately, they had a lot of build-up in their eyes, so we went ahead and cleaned out their eyes for them. Did you find all of them? But man, look at them, they're so cute. I want a cat so bad.
Oh my gosh,
should I take one home?
Yeah, take one home.
So the bump stops did not fit, so we had to trim them down a bit and do a bit of a
Technology.
fix for that one. Now guys, that's just about gonna wrap up the video. Overall, everything went well. The car drives so much nicer now. It's not even nicer, it's just normal. But next video, I'm going to do a review on the car and talk about it more in depth. Hope to see you guys in the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, comment what you think about the car, hate on it, tell me what I should do next. Should I put an LS1 in it? Alrighty, see ya, bye.
It's a Ferrari, mate.